Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back, all you wonderful Bi-Conic Wrestling fans, to another BROH, the Bi-Conic Review of Honor, here with some amazing minds in the wrestling reviewing game. We're here to review Ring of Honor from the 7th of December, 2023, 2 days after my birthday. And we are joined, as always, by Andrew from across the digital divides, and Jesse in room with me here. Mikey, unfortunately, has been dragged away to chaperone small children, not allow them to, be close enough to have the Holy Spirit between them as they dance together.
I think I'm in trouble with Dalton Castle and the boys. I can't come to the review tonight, but I'll catch you all next week. Bye.
So we wish him luck on that adventure, and hopefully he's doing well, keeping the Holy Spirit between children. And what?
You're going to go with that? Okay,
I'm going to go with that.
Let's move forward from that.
It's an odd transition. It's an odd little bit there, kind of pushes two of his life goals together, just like this show pushed two different events together at the same time.
Did you stretch before that reach?
I did not stretch at all. I'm still young enough not to have my ankles going there. It's very nice to get up and grab. We had ROH tapings that seemed to be both from Pennsylvania and from, I think, Chicago, or if not, like the week before. That they had crammed together, because the way you could tell, if they were coming in from the right side, it was in Chicago. If from the left side, it was Pennsylvania. But it was a very stacked card. We had a lot of people on this one. You were saying, Andrew, before, it just seemed like this was also a slower card than we had the week before, which was the same amount of time. How do you feel that it slowed down?
It felt like some of the momentum I just didn't feel carried as much through as it has in other shows, but I also felt like some of the stuff, it was almost like it was too overloaded. Like, especially with the tournament matches that we had on there, I would have liked to have seen those. I know we couldn't have had the tournament matches until Samoa Joe decided he didn't like being that champion anymore, but they could have spread them out a little bit between when that happened and now. And now it just felt like, final battles, next week, we should probably have some matches.
Jesse, do you agree with that? Like, kind of like mashed up that way?
I agree to a degree, but my only caveat to that is I like that it was a bit slower paced, because I feel like we had less matches, but better matches, because it wasn't just a card stacked with a bunch of squash matches. There were a few, but they gave the other matches time to breathe, and I really enjoyed that. I feel like better work is done in the ring at that rate.
I will also say, to your point about the fact that they got all the tournament matches into one, you could tell, again, from two recordings, they probably had spaced it out live and then went, oh crap, we haven't featured them. We probably should have done that. And someone who was featured tonight very highly in the opening match with a squash that built an angle was Billy Starks taking on Danny Moe, where Billy, I thought, started off almost not caring about this opponent, not caring about the match, and then went down the heel route, which was really interesting to watch her kind of turn that on. Should this have been a more competitive match, do you think, or was it what it needed for what it was to build to an Athena angle that took nearly 7 minutes to have that brawl, which was ridiculously hard-hitting?
Andrew, would you like to go ahead, or do you want to wait for me to go?
You go ahead.
Okay. I like the match. I do agree with the squash match, because I haven't seen Billy in one of those, at least since I've been watching Ring of Honor this year. And to see her kind of flip that switch and immediately start being like, no, now she's clearly upset, she's clearly mad, and kind of tap into that rage was great, because she's going to need that against Athena. So it was good to see that. And I thought, and to me, I was surprised by the brawl after the match, because usually you kind of reserve that for the go-home show, and typically it's like 97% of the time whoever winds up on top of the brawl after the match winds up losing the match itself at the pay-per-view. So it was kind of interesting to see it a week beforehand, as opposed to the go-home show essentially the day before with this one. But I liked it. I thought there was a lot of really good spots during the brawl. There was a point where the suplex into the ring post, that looked like that really hurt. And then seeing Billy kind of wait and pounce on Athena with that spear was a beautiful spot there. Honestly, I think this was the best attack, like brawl before a title match that I've seen in a very, very long time. The only problem with that is it kind of overshadowed the match itself.
Yeah.
Which it's good and bad in there, because we want to make sure that we've got the momentum behind this story and this keeps the story progressing. But then it's like, why do we have the match to begin with?
Yeah, I agree. I actually ranked this, let's call it a sequence of events, pretty high in the night for me. Because, yeah, at first when I saw the match, I was like, all right, it's a squash match. And, obviously we're just doing this to build up with Billy a little. I did like that she's back in bright colors. She came down to the ring, like, super bubbly and happy and smiling and doing her regular stuff. And then as soon as we got into the match, she was just it was like she dropped all of that. And so it's like you can see the things that she's kind of picking up, or she picked up from Athena, and is kind of this new Billy. I did like the fact that the brawl was it was like twice as long as the actual match, and yeah. But I kind of felt like this was one of those matches where I've seen matches often where they'll get booked, and I'm like, why are we watching this match? And then what happens afterwards? I'm like, oh, okay, that was really just to set up a scenario where this event could happen. But I didn't feel like, oh, I wish it would have been more organic, because they did such a good job in the brawl. Both of them were beating up the security, which it was funny. I noticed that one of the security was Victor Benjamin, who's the husband of Lady Frost. He was the bald security guy. He's got a goatee and a bunch of tats. So that was kind of fun to see him out there. But yeah, it was awesome. I'm super pumped. After this, I was like, this needs to be the main event. I want to see these two go. This match is going to be incredible. Yeah. But yeah, I thought this was awesome. It was a fun part of the night. I wish there was a way we could have figured out how to have this at the end, but it was also a good way to open the show.
Totally agree on having it continue on a bit longer as well, or have it like come back or something like that, where they keep brawling afterwards would have been fun. The local talent was selling very well for both of them, taking them out. Athena's bump into the barricade was nasty. That looked agonizingly terrible as well. So good on them both. They sold the main event for Final Battle to be probably one of the best matches we're going to see probably this year. If overall, I'm assuming. I'm calling it right now. Which, on a stacked card like Final Battle, you're going to have a lot of banger matches. You want to have someone that can definitely hold their own, but also carries that storyline through. Unlike the promo we got after this, which was necessary to a point, but also made me angry because we have a new champion who's not fighting for the championship at the pay-per-view. He's in a 3-man tag match, perhaps with Bryan Danielson. We don't know, against, Mark Briscoe and FTR. The sentiment of this promo and the sentiment of the match that's built makes sense to me for this. It's really good, heartfelt story, good nostalgia for Jay Briscoe. But then why'd you put they put the title on Yuta because Shibata got hurt. They couldn't put it on Woods, which we'll talk about later as well, which was a whole other thing. But this was, I don't know whether we needed this set up until maybe next week, having this match set up, because there's no stakes in it other than it's nostalgia and for the love of Jay Briscoe.
If it weren't for the storyline with Jay Briscoe, which I'm glad they're doing something, because that this pay-per-view means a lot to the Briscoe family, this honestly would have made me frustrated, because it seems like, oh, we've got a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, let's throw a whole bunch of AEW talent on there and have Ring of Honor champion presenting but not defending the championship. It just kind of frustrated me. Why are we taking time away from Ring of Honor talent who are there week in and week out for AEW talent?
I agree 100%. This was, if you're going to do this, do it with, Bryan Danielson and somebody else, and I think you can still honor that and make this a featured match, do the dog collar match and all that kind of stuff. But if Wheeler Yuta, who just won the title, is going to wrestle on your card, then he should be wrestling to defend that championship. That's what I want to see, and I think it would serve not only the title, but it would serve Yuta better. He shines better when he's on his own.
Well, and Jay Briscoe also would have appreciated all the titles being defended, because as he came into most of these ROH pay-per-views, he was a title holder. You want to defend your titles when you have a title at a pay-per-view, especially the biggest one of the year at the end of the year. Speaking of those titles not being defended and being put there, we then go to our next match in the tournament to get to that fatal 6-way survival of the fittest match at Final Battle. We have Dalton Castle back on our screens with the boys, which is a lot of fun, versus Johnny TV. More AEW folks coming on down the pipeline to perform in ROH and bring a different flavor. I thought this match was more of a sports entertainment type schmaz than an ROH match. And it really was overbooked in probably the worst possible way. And the only reason it worked was because Dalton Castle was involved. Well, I don't know what you two thought about that.
I've liked Johnny TV since the Johnny Nitro days. I liked him and Joey Mercury together, and then I actually got to see that live when Joey Mercury's entire face got busted open with the ladder, which is still a horrifying sight. I was kind of glad to have him down. I know it's that whole bringing AEW down, which I'm being hypocritical of what I said, 90 seconds ago or so. But I like seeing him come down. This match scared me. It really scared the crap out of me at one point because I saw Taya Valkyrie come down. And I was like, oh, please don't get a dusty finish or some kind of distraction finish where Dalton Castle lose. And then they almost did. Excuse me. There we go. I'm back. And it scared me because it's like, okay, is this going to lead to a Dalton Castle loses and now we've got a feud between Johnny TV and Dalton Castle, which I'm all for. I think that would be great. I think that worked really well. But not at this time right now. We need Dalton Castle in the title picture. And thankfully that didn't happen.
But we also had Taya tying it up with the boys, which was great. And then to even the odds, you got Kiera Hogan coming down to have the back of Dalton Castle.
She was such a small part in it. Like, it was so quick. I didn't even know who it was until I think it was Riccaboni had said that it was Kiera Hogan.
Maybe I'm being an optimist here, but my hope is that since QT TV has likely been removed from your cable packages, that the members in there are going to be kind of divided out. And so I'm kind of hoping that Johnny TV and Taya are moving down to, I don't want to say down, across to Ring of Honor, because neither of them were being used well in AEW. I mean, Taya wasn't even getting used at all. I feel like they would fit really well in Ring of Honor, and they bring in some good fresh blood to any of the divisions that they're going to be in. And after seeing more, I'd love to see a Dalton Castle Johnny TV feud. Maybe once Dalton Castle goes on and wins that TV title.
Wow, Johnny TV going for the TV title against Dalton Castle, the man who is taking TV to the next level. It works so well. Good booking. And Taya Valkyrie has so many other amazing wrestlers she can go up against down here on ROH that she is going to be having matches. You could only probably see an Impact or something like that.
I want to see Taya Valkyrie and Lady Frost. I'd like to see that feud.
I want to see Taya Valkyrie versus Rachel Ellering.
Okay.
But we move on quickly from that because that was it was the classic kind of like sports entertainment ending of a thing. You had a lot of people come out at once, kind of something you would see at the end of maybe a Raw or something else back in the older early 2000s. But we moved from them to another women's match, which is really great because we had Rachel Ellering coming down with both Layla Hirsch and Maria, who's clapping for her and on her side, and she goes in to go up against Nikki Vicious and
Nikki Victory.
Sorry, I can't read my own writing. I have the writing of a serial killer, as I've been told. Nikki Victory, and this was a great way to do a squash where you were going to have a storyline embedded in it, but it still gave it kind of a little bit of like danger in it.
It was a little more than a squash, but the whole thing felt a little clunky to me. Like that, I was very confused by what's Maria doing, and I guess that's good for storyline, kind of increasing the plot, and I want to see where it's going. But the match itself didn't do it for me. It wasn't my favorite.
Interesting.
I mean, the match wasn't particularly great for me, but what they were doing with the story, it's got me intrigued because I think one of the interesting things they've been doing with the Maria storylines from all the angles is you're kind of wondering like what's her plan, her goal, her motive kind of thing. And there seems to be very obvious ones, like with Layla and Rachel. It seems like, she wants to split them up so she can, have Layla work for her and do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, there was a part of me wondering, like, maybe she's trying to do the same thing she kind of did to Layla, which is if she gets them to fail, they'll look at their only way of succeeding is through her, and maybe she's going to try to bring both of them in. I'm hoping that they're going to go a little deeper than the, stereotypical expectations. I do like the story. I like the three people involved. I look forward to seeing where they're going with it. But yeah, the match wasn't particularly astounding to me. It was decent, but
decent, and it set up an angle later in the night that we got kind of more payoff, sort of, in a promo that was also kind of iffy. But then we got Athena backstage with Lexi, announcing that she's obviously excited to be taking on Billy in the main event. Excited for that Billy has gone down this road. You're pointing right over there, and excited
Andrew
about.
had mentioned that earlier.
That's true, yeah, and
giving him kudos.
very much so. And then I love her setting up the whole thing. Like we're going out together to get drinks, and Lexi's coming with her. And Lexi's kind of like, I don't know if I want to, as she's being thrust in this ring announcer thing for it too. All three are involved.
Lexi looked like a hostage in this scenario. Like her whole face was like, I'm just going to do whatever that she says because I don't want to get hurt. And she played it off beautifully. And then when Athena said, you're going to be our special, I was like, oh no, I called this. If it's special guest referee, I called this 8 weeks ago. And then it wasn't that, so I was a little disappointed, but I still am happy that Lexi is getting involved. I like this promo. It made me laugh. It made me be like, oh, I hope Lexi's okay at the end of this. This was fun. This was really good.
yeah, it was good. I had that same thought about Lexi. She looked so scared. It was that, I don't know if this is a good thing now that Billy's gone. I'm the only one here with her. And she does such a great job. And even though she's not going to be the guest referee, I have a feeling she's going to be involved in this match, when it all comes down some way or another, even if it's just psychologically. But the three of them, I say it most weeks, is the three of them are some of the best things about wrestling on TV right now.
They really are. I can honestly see, she may not start as a special guest referee. There's going to be a ref bump, and they're going to look to her to come in and like fill in that role, which then probably won't happen. But just having her like get in the ring and like, who are you going to count for me?
Or like, give me the chair.
Yeah.
The only other thing I could think is the face Lexi was making was like, oh, mom's bonding with me. It's rage bonding, but she's still bonding with me.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh man. It's great to see Lexi have a character as well as being a backstage interviewer and being available for these storylines. She has way more of a character than one of the participants in the next match, because we had the workhorsemen taking on the infantry, and I will say this: I have crapped upon Anthony Henry for months, and I know that I still will continue to, because he is one of the most boring characters in this. He is a decent worker, boring character. He can sell really well when he wants to. And when he has people he wants to sell for, my God, he can take them in a really good place.
I think the point that I was most excited about with Anthony Henry tonight is when he slid in front of, I think it was Charlie Bravo to stop the tag. A few weeks ago, you were very mad about that because he didn't sell it all the way. He didn't do it like full bore.
Right.
And he did this time. I was like, he listened. Yeah. So I was very excited about that. This match, I thought it was fun. It a little under-delivered for me. I thought it could have gone a little bit longer. It was a little underwhelming. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I was shocked the most by was the ending, the outcome. The infantry has been on such a roll, and to see them take a loss here and lose cleanly, it was kind of surprising. And I need to give kudos and give props to that spot where the infantry did that jumping clothesline in the corner into a tag. That was very, very creative, very clever, and incredibly athletic.
Yeah, that match was great. It was really cool to see actual tag team matches and good tag team work, like actual tag teams wrestling in tag team matches.
A couple of them tonight.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I was so pumped when I saw the card, and this match just got me excited for all the rest, because I think, Anthony Henry may not be the most dynamic character out there, but I think what he does is he's a really great tag team partner for JD Drake, because they're different enough, but they blend together really well in a tag team format. JD Drake was my star of this match tonight. He was just
always
so good. I was surprised that the infantry lost, but it kind of made sense to me, like how they set it up in the match, like how the flow worked for it. And I feel like, I don't want to say they don't have this same, strong feeling of like success with the infantry, because I think what we're seeing is what are their top like 5 tag teams. But I feel like this was a sign that, like, the workhorsemen are definitely up at the top there too, because it seems like Ring of Honor more than other promotions will give you a little bit of streak, and then you lose, and you get a little bit, and you're usually losing to other people who are kind of in that same position. So yeah, I thought this was great. I can't wait for those tag titles to be back in Ring of Honor so we can put them on one of these teams.
Makes it really competitive.
Yeah, absolutely it does. I'm sorry, John. I'm going to take your segue here because everything that Andrew said, I agree with. It makes sense. But on the flip side of that not making sense, we move on to our next match.
We do. We have the Renegades taking on the Frankenstein team of Trish Adora and Lady Frost. Before we do get to that, I will say Anthony Henry then got back to my expectations at the end of it because he forgot how to celebrate a win and tried to leave, and JD Drake had to shepherd him over to the other.
He's so used to losing.
So used to losing. So very funny in that respect. But we had the Renegades come out, and they were actually booed really hard because I realized later, we're in Lady Frost's territory. Yeah. This is where she came up. This is what she did. And, for a Frankenstein team, Trish Adora and Lady Frost had some decent chemistry, which was great. And Lady Frost obviously got the pin in this because she was going to win it outright after both finishers. One thing I did pick up on before we get to the kind of in-depth about the match, I don't know if either of you heard this, but every time Lady Frost throws one of her kicks and does her little kata that she does with it when she yells something out, it sounds like "get effed." It literally just says "get effed" every time that she's putting her legs up and kicking people in the face. And I thought that was really cool. I hadn't picked up on it before, but this was a faster tag team match that moved really nicely. How'd you guys feel about it? Because you're a big fan of the Renegades.
Andrew, you go ahead. I'm going to concede my time.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, don't concede your time.
Okay. I thought it was a fun match. I, again, wish that we had more than the Renegades as a women's tag team. It was almost like they were trying to hint at it at the end of this match of ooh, maybe we'll see more of these two together. I don't mind when they make tag teams out of folks that aren't doing much in singles, but do it in ways that make sense. But yeah, it was a fun match. There were a few hiccups here and there. It was cool to see Lady Frost get a win in her hometown because it's always kind of sad when it seems like, oh, this is where you're from? Cool, too bad you're losing tonight then. So, that was a fun stuff, but yeah. Go ahead.
Sounded like every hometown Vince McMahon meeting.
Jesse, you're not ceding your time. I want to know what this whole rub in the face was. What's going on here?
We're past the minute?
We're past it.
Okay.
We're past it a couple minutes, yeah.
Okay. This match, the ending of this match, pissed me off. It just absolutely flat out pissed me off, okay? Now, come here. Look at me. You don't have to move the camera. It's okay. Look at me. Just, follow my voice. You don't really have a choice. Why are we having the only female tag team that's established improving every week? Every week, the Renegades, Charlotte, and Robin are getting better and better each single week. They're getting faster. They're getting more confident in their moves. Why are they losing? They're the only tag team we have that's established and growing, but lose them to a team that's just thrown together. Like, oh yeah, this sounds good. We ran out of players in our draft card, so let's just throw them in there. Why? What did this do to help any tag team? If we had maybe established that Lady Frost and Trish Adora are going to be a tag team moving forward, okay, give them their debut tag team and have them take a win. Okay, I'm fine with that. But we didn't do that. It was just like, hey, here we go. Renegades lose again. Why?
Because they're heels.
Heels don't need to lose all the time.
They don't need to, but I feel like they're being played that way where they're just the heels that put people over, which isn't the best thing for them. You're right. We need a solid kind of grounding if they're going to build a division. Which that's the hope if they're putting Layla and Rachel together and a bunch of other people hey, we're not going to have anything for you. You hope that it can be, but they've got to build toward it. And I think they're going to wait till after Final Battle to pull any triggers on anything at this point because you've got so much else going on. And then we cut backstage. We have Maria with Rachel. This was a really crap promo.
Yeah, I blacked out at this moment.
Yeah, exactly. The two of them talking about what was that all about? Nothing was really done. Layla comes in, gets in the middle of it. Maria says she is lying to them through her teeth, and nothing got put up this other than Layla says she's got Rachel's back now.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I lied. This is the wrong promo. I was fine with this one. It existed. It was okay. There's another promo later that I definitely blacked out on.
Okay, we'll talk about that one later then.
You want to sing about it?
This promo was fine. It felt a little bumpy in spots like the match did, where there was just not the smoothest timing. One of the biggest things I noticed from this was Layla's rock. she was standing on this side. She held up her hand, and all I could see was that big old ring on her finger. Like, I was like, damn, that's a rock. All right. But maybe that says something
Family
about
heirloom from the other dwarves who mined it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping she doesn't see this because she will full well kick my ass.
She will, and so will her fiance, because her fiance also is, I think, another female wrestler. So you're gonna have some problems there. No, you're right. It just was.
Okay, remember, my name is Andrew, and I live at Andrew. What's your address?
Yeah, so you saw the Rock. You got distracted by that as well. If that's pulling you out of the promo as well, you know that it wasn't probably the best that was out there. Just kind of like the next match we had on the card. I was severely disappointed in this match. Not because of the participants involved. It seemed like it never got into gear. They were trying to play it slow, trying to be technical at the beginning. It was really great to see Lee Johnson work a technical style against Josh Woods. But you put Woods in this tournament like to build up to it, and he's not going to get the pure title at any point. And you've built him up to be this monster. And the ending was just kind of out of nowhere, kind of just not built too well. At least I didn't feel that way. It could have been better with, I don't know, just a minute or two more to kind of build a few more chain pieces into it.
I have to disagree with you. I actually really like this match. I know it was a slow burn. Like, the whole match was slow. I know it started slow, but it kind of stayed slow. But I liked seeing Lee Johnson work in that style, and I like seeing him and Josh Woods work together. I think they complement each other really well because they've got that big bruiser style, and then the other style that's kind of like, I'm gonna pull this opportunistic stuff when I can. Yep. Seeing Lee Johnson get a win was very shocking for me, but we need to point out the great, I think one of the greatest segments of this whole night, this whole card, was Josh Woods pointing at the guy at the crowd and saying, "You've got a receding hairline, shut your mouth."
Which then was on commentary for the rest of the match, all about receding hairlines and barbers.
No, I like this match too. I thought it was a good paced back and forth match. You know, we had a couple of good technical matches on the card tonight or last night, and I thought it was fun. I even, like, as it was building up, one of my notes, my last note before the end was, there was some moments where I was like, who's going to win? Because I went into this, too, assuming that Josh Woods was going to come out of this victorious. And then when Lee Johnson picked up the victory, I was shocked. And it kind of makes me wonder, is Lee Johnson going towards more of a push? Because I think he's like 2 or 3 in a row now. He came out of like a multi-man match with a victory, and I think he might have come out of one more. But it seems like since he's come back from, I think he was on his honeymoon,
right?
He seems like he's been getting a bit of a more kind of momentum going forward with Ring of Honor.
Yeah, since they removed him from the whole Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty situation, he's doing a lot better. And to me, he's more fun to watch now.
He's going to be a very big addition to that 6-man match now that he has gotten into it through that win, giving it that high-flying style to offset to someone like Dalton Castle, who's going to be a little more grounded and take it down. So it's going to be a good kind of thing of styles. I also noticed that, Josh Woods has not won a match when Mark Sterling hasn't been out there. So is this something they're actually thinking about, something or turning something because he hasn't been around and Josh was pushing him away earlier in the year? We don't know, but it was something I picked up on this as well. Like, he's lost every match without Mark Sterling. We then move on to what I thought would be Jesse's match of the night, because we have the Outrunners, comedy gold everywhere they go, versus Diet Wyatt, the Righteous, and they got so much over in this match that I didn't think anyone could ever get over anymore. And the Righteous, between their viciousness with the two of them, but also their willingness to sell these campy 80s moves, it was beautiful. It was utter beauty.
I loved this match. Yeah. They both got some offense in. It was fun the whole time. It got the result that I, as a fan, wanted. I'm actually going to stop calling them Diet Wyatt myself, because I feel like that can be sometimes derogatory, because the Righteous, they're really good. And I actually went on the ROH shop today. I was like, maybe I'll buy that shirt that they have, the one piece of Righteous merch they have. I might be getting that for myself. No, I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the back and forth. And I like seeing the Outrunners too, so this was just a good match. This was my match of the night until one that came on later. But I had to temper it myself, because this is match of the night because I think it was the best quality match, or because it was the one that I had the most fun with.
It's true.
So this is match of the night with an asterisk. So as a fan, this was mine.
Your fan match of the night. Interesting.
Yeah.
Andrew, what did you think of the fun we had?
Oh, this was another great tag team match. You know, we've got two kind of archetypes of tag teams going against each other. I thought it was nice to see Vincent seemed more vicious in this match than he has in his last few matches. I think part of it
Absolutely.
is it wasn't a straight out squash match. So, you know, they got time to do those kind of things. And I thought it was really interesting that as much as the Righteous had the upper hand, when Turbo got the hot tag, he got a lot of offense. Like, they went down for him like multiple times, and they were picking it up, like really turning it around. So I think that also says something that they acknowledge what they've got with the Outrunners too. Again, another great addition to that tag team division that I can't wait to see someone be at the top and the rest of these tag teams be chasing after him.
I would say arguably probably the best tag division in any promotion right now, at least promotions that I'm fully aware of.
Which is hysterical because AEW was built to supposedly be the place where tag teams came to play, and it hasn't been that for quite a while.
Listen to the adjective there, play.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who are the AEW tag team champions right now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
On the revolver.
it's not FTR. No,
It's Big Bill and Ricky Starks,
that's
two
right. Oh, right.
singles contenders that got thrown together.
It's Team Little Big AEW,
Yeah.
and that's an insult to Team Little Big because they were actually really good.
I love them.
But we move on from our amazing tag division to another match for the eliminator for the Survivors of the Fittest match. We had Hot Sauce versus Lee Moriarty, and I think, in my opinion, Lee Moriarty had the same thing happen that Lee Johnson did, where away from the Shane Taylor production void and away from that kind of storyline, he got to showcase again why he's such an amazing athlete and why Hot Sauce is such an amazing ROH alumni.
Yeah.
And it was a really this almost was my match of the night for a lot of the stuff they did in this. I was really excited for it. I just hate Lee Moriarty's new music. That's all I hate.
I think Mikey's in the same boat.
Yeah,
You both missed the Tiger style music.
we do.
But no, this was just a good match. It was, a veteran versus, somebody newer to ROH, or newer, especially compared to Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. But it was a good serviceable match. I got the ending that I thought should have happened, and I got no faults with it.
No faults.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I'm a big fan of the technical wrestling, which is why I'm hoping we're going to get to see more pure matches too. I think Lee Moriarty needs to be wrestling for that pure title at some point. I'd love to see him against Wheeler Yuta, for that title, or anybody that would be in that division. He makes that style so interesting. He's like a more violent Angelico. But
Definitely see it, yeah.
it was great. Tracy Williams was excellent in this match because he shined, but in a way that they made each other look better. And so it was a great match, great way to build up Lee Moriarty for the 6-man match at Final Battle. So yeah, it was awesome. I thought this was one of my top matches of the night for sure.
This entire tournament, just like the Continental Classic, has had a lot of great matches leading into the 6-person Survivors of the Fittest match. I think that AEW and ROH have figured out that tournaments are their bailiwick, and they really do them well, and I think that's the best way to get the mid-card involved that they're really taking advantage of right now. But after that complete description and showcase of technical prowess and amazing wrestling, we got something that one-upped MJF and Adam Cole as buddy cops. We have the rivalry of trivia with Johnny TV and Dalton Castle of TV styles. My God, this should have gone on for an hour.
Oh my God,
I would have watched it.
Good. Oh, so good.
I feel like this one they should have done with years ago when WWE did the Cyber Monday, whatever event that was, where they had people vote in. You should have been able to text in your TV suggestions to see if they'd say it on there.
Yeah. This was so good. And the fact that they lingered on it as, Johnny TV and Taya leave, he gets in Murder, She Wrote. And then at the end of the promo, when Dalton Castle's done and is about to leave, you get In Living Color. It was just the two of them were so good together.
I think my favorite part of that whole promo is that this was with Lexi, right?
Yeah, it was with Lexi.
Yeah.
So when they walk away and Lexi, as they're leaving, like the camera's panning away, Lexi goes, "Well, they do look good together." And you hear Dalton Castle yell, "Excuse me, I can't." Or hold on, what did he say?
It was you can't. You have to quote him.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that they look good together.
Yeah.
As like he's walking away and yells it.
He can still say that Ty and Johnny are a very, very hot couple. Like he can say that completely, but like, oh my god. I
do look good together. Yeah, I'm not going to deny that.
I'm hoping their next match they keep yelling TV tropes at each other in the ring, and they can like do a move associated with it. So it's like Murder She Wrote, stab to the chest, Battlestar, or he does like Star Trek and pinches him.
And it's going to be all
Something
Johnny
else.
TV's moves now.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Dalton Castle's pulling stuff out that's named after things from Hook and all that good stuff too. But we then move on from that wonderful promo. We could have lingered there for hours. I would have enjoyed it. To a match that was super quick for having not been a squash. The Butcher and the Blade now on a 2-win win streak against the boys.
I really like this match. I like seeing more of the Butcher and the Blade. I do miss the Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
I got to watch them a little bit when they were in AEW, but I think they're doing really well down here in ROH. Excuse me, not down. Across.
Yeah, they are
just
across.
in
They're
ROH.
across.
I really like them. I like watching them. I like this style of matchup. We have, another matchup of quick opportunity versus a really bruiser style, and it worked for me. I really enjoyed this match.
And it proves that the Butcher and the Blade are game to sell and do fun things. And they've said it on many occasions. Like, we love those weird matches where it's going to be something funny because no one expects it from us.
Yeah, it was great. It was really, like you said exactly, that it was great to see two extremely different dynamics of teams where they work together so well, because it wasn't like this could have easily been Butcher and Blade coming out, squashing the boys, and then calling it a night. But they went back and forth, great offense. Both teams had their ups and downs. So I thought this was another phenomenal tag match. It made both teams look really good because, and commentary did a great job of this too, was talking about how it's like, the boys they're so used to always being the smaller ones that the way that they move in the ring, like when they were whipping the Butcher around, they did this where they jump on the rope and use the slingshot of the rope to propel him because, he's so much bigger than they are. And like their movements play into that. It was great. I loved it. And yeah, it's good to see Butcher and Blade back wrestling as a tag team. Hey, use them.
Physics at work. This is also where you could tell this was two different tapings because the boys were in different gear, coming in from a different side, different hairstyles.
And the announcers tried to play it off.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it had been the same night, Taya would have come out to like ruin their match as well, but obviously didn't happen and ended up happening. So I know we want to skip over this. I know you don't want to talk about this. You blacked out during this promo. We had Maria back for her third segment on the show, which I'm usually happy to see Maria on my TV screens. I'm usually happy to see her.
I don't need to hear.
I enjoy hearing her, but not in this respect. Griff Garrison and Creator Wrestler 7 are being interviewed by Lexi about how it's been going as a tag team. And Griff's like, we're having our ups and downs. We're starting to bond. They're getting there. But what can they do? What can they do better? And Maria lists a couple things for them and says, and new music, which I've written. Pulls out her phone and gives us an a cappella rendition of Mama's Boys, which is going to be their theme song starting next week. This was the most awkward thing I have heard in forever.
You also forgot the best part was the enthrallment of Griff Garrison after she left and he was seduced by the call of the songbird. I don't know, maybe it's the
songbird.
Okay, so first of all, I also have to comment on the fact of how ridiculous professional wrestling is just in general. We cut back to Lexi and Maria, normal, standing backstage, and Griff and Cole, two dudes just hanging out with no shirts on. It's not like they were in wrestling gear. Cole was in jeans. They're just hanging out with no shirts on. And they're just like, all right, we're ready to do our interview. What? And it was but that just capped off the beginning of that whole process. But there is a twisted part of me that enjoys this. I think part of it might be because I also can't wait to hear how much y'all hated it. But it's a part of me that's just like, all right, let's see where this goes, because it's a It's a train wreck, but I'm here to see where it takes us.
Could you imagine if you did that in any other interview, like Andrew, you or John, you have a press interview for, plugging a show that you're performing in coming up, and you just show up I'm ready for my interview. You're not wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
Like that'd be completely normal. Or if I'm interviewing somebody for a job and they're just come on the Zoom call, come in not wearing a shirt, like, oh, I'm here for an interview. What are you doing? But John, why don't you go and tell us what you thought about this?
When I wake up in the morning, right?
Wait, can we get the song on Apple Music yet?
Yes, only on Apple Music, and
Right.
I'm also going to be putting it on my MySpace page for you to download. So that is where you'll find that rendition of "Lovely Day" by
I tried
me.
to put it on my Zune, but it just burst into flames.
The song or the Zune?
The Zune.
Oh God, yeah. So this was comedy. This was funny. It was a thing. I'm with you on this. There's a sick part of me that wants to see how far down the rabbit hole this will go next week as they go into Final Battle, coming out to Mama's Boys.
Maybe she'll do it live.
Like Jericho.
Oh yes,
Wembley, so she can say she played Wembley.
Jesus.
Hey, if they get
We'll have
people to start singing along with her theme song for them, I think they will have officially sold it.
100%.
When the music started, I need to share this with the two of you, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Everything went black around me, and I saw this little pinprick of light that far away, and I could hear it calling to me, and it was saying to me, I am the nagging conscience in a world that has given itself over to moral monsters. Come and join me. And I sat there and went, embrace me, please. Save me from this.
You heard heard a calling from beyond, dragging you down to a darker place that would be better.
It was a
than that?
better place. There was light there.
Oh God!
People were wearing shirts.
You were in a darker place with people wearing shirts, which we then transitioned to a battle of the angels because we had Christopher Daniels, the fallen angel, versus Angelico, and we're on the Christopher Daniels. I think it seems like retirement tour. Like he is just putting everybody over as he goes through, and also doing a better job than Eddie Kingston did to set up what Angelico's character is. Because this, like him and Serpentico going like really petty heel in this against him and setting it up that way, and then getting my return of the night.
I was so
love
happy.
When Orange Cassidy and Danhausen came down to save Daniels, and he cursed Serpentico, and Serpentico did the right thing. He grabbed his balls because obviously that is where Danhausen was cursing him.
So
I was so excited when he came down. Go ahead, Andrew.
when my first note on this too, when Serpentico did the whole handshake thing with Christopher Daniels at the top of this, I was like, I want to have Danhausen come over to Ring of Honor and do a feud with Serpentico, because I was like, that could be comedy for weeks on weeks. And the fact that that's what happened at the end of this, I was like, all right, cool, let's go. I'm here for it. Let me see the two of these two get just ridiculous.
Oh no, Jesse's losing himself here on it. Cough out that demon. Come on, you got it.
No shit, I almost passed out there for a second. I think it's fucking the Maria song again. No, I'm back. No, I was very, very happy to see Danhausen come back. I haven't gotten to see much of him. I know he's one of your favorites. You talk about him a lot.
I love him.
I haven't gotten to watch much of his work, but to see him come down, just the presence he has and the absurdity of it, I am officially a Fanhausen.
There you go. You can't be any more than that. The match itself was also really good. I think that they worked a very fun style, and Daniels sold everything Angelica gave to him hard as hell. And that ending submission is brutality at its best. I don't know how he can take that without actually getting hurt.
Yeah, and knowing that the one thing I had about this match was that I know it was hard because they recorded them separately and all that, but this was one of those matches where I felt like, while it was a good match between the two of them, and I enjoyed the end of it and everything, I felt like I was like, couldn't we put this on next week, or could it have been last week or whatever? It was just one of those ones that, while it was fun and entertaining, didn't tie into where we were going, and with so much that was going on. But yeah, it was great to see. Seems like Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, that whole group seems to be making regular trips down to Ring of Honor, across the Ring of Honor. So yeah.
What better way to bring another title down that needs to be shown on other things?
Yeah.
Take it back. It's great. We then move on to our contract signing of the evening.
Something else I feel like could have been pushed to next week.
Well, it would be hard with the longness of that table. That was like an extra long, extra wide table.
The Bruce Wayne special.
And we got our things in here. I did write down one thing I noticed, that when Ethan Page was finally getting his time to talk before he signed, he's saying Tony over and over because he's talking about Tony Nese. When they were cut back, Tony Khan got excited like a dog every time he heard his name. He's like, oh, he's talking to me. No, he's not talking to me. Oh, no, he's not talking to me. He's talking to Tony. Who are you talking to? TK, you didn't need to be there. You didn't need to be there.
He's so nervous on camera, too. It's almost distracting to the whole segment.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
I have to say, and this is coming from me being a little sensitive to that kind of stuff, I get going for cheap heat. I didn't love the whole fat shaming of Ethan Page. Like, I get going for cheap heat, but that dude even in that was better shape than I am right now. So, like, what the hell are you talking about? Although I was very excited at the concept of an I Quit match because I can't remember the last one.
It was in AEW, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the whole contract signing thing because very rarely has anything happened different than what happens at every single one of them. And so it's just one of those things where it's like, it's a contract signing, so that means they're gonna get into a fight in the middle of the ring at some point with the table.
And take a massively horrendous bump into one this time. My God, yeah. Ethan Page.
That table barely broke. He like bounced right off of it. That was crazy. I mean, I thought the interactions on the mic between them were good, like the things they tried to do. And yeah, I get it, the whole Tony Nese fitness thing, like the angle they're trying to go and the heat that they're trying to get for that, but especially because it's like that's something that he has actually like worked on and struggled with, because I know for a while he got really into shape again and then he got back out of it, Ethan Page, or out of it for what he is now. But all in all, I don't know. The biggest excitement out of it, like you said, was finding out that it was an I Quit match.
And the protein powder to the face was actually a kind of fun little thing there too, very Mr. Fuji-esque.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
That got ruined for me on social media because I was scrolling through Instagram and a picture of Mark Sterling throwing some kind of powder at Ethan Page came up and I was like, oh, okay, well, obviously that's going to happen. So I actually sat there watching the whole moment of Mark Sterling subtly trying to open the top of the coffee and like waiting for his cue to throw it while they were interacting with each other.
I think one of the other distracting parts about this whole contract signing was TK in the beginning being so nervous, and then he looks at both of them, points to both of them, and says, now, guys, remember, nothing physical. I'm like, are you new here?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened where it wasn't something physical?
Table flip something or other. Yeah, it always is. But we ended our night on a high note for me. This was actually my match of the night. I really enjoyed these two.
Mine as well.
Kyle Fletcher, representing the Don Callis family, versus Gravity. And, guys, the brown note made its ROH debut. We got, everyone crapping their pants in the first two rows. And Kyle Fletcher looks like he's had a Randy Orton
transformation. At home.
It's very much.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Fletcher looks like he has had a Randy Orton type transformation. He's bulked up since the last 2 weeks. And he's going on a tear.
Well, and I didn't realize how tall he was until I saw him in there with Kushida and, or not Kushida, Takeshita.
Yeah.
And Powerhouse Hobbs. When I saw him standing in the ring with the three of them, I was like, man, he is big. He's much bigger than I thought he was. And it's, I was comparing him to his partner who's shorter but stockier. And then you've got, FTR, both pretty beefy dudes too. And so, but seeing the amount of muscle he's put on in the last few weeks, like, yeah, he's a hoss now. But yeah, it was a good match. Good, exciting match. I thought Gravity, Gravity does what Gravity does,
Amazingly every week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Kyle Fletcher is a great competitor on his own. So the two of them, it was a great match. They really worked well together.
Angry Kyle Fletcher throwing elbows and kicks in a style to take down a luchador is one of my favorite kind of like sequences I want to see now, where he completely blows his top and goes nuts.
That was a little brutal to watch, but I still enjoyed it.
I also wrote down here that Kyle Fletcher is what Cole Carter wishes he was. Same gear, same gimmick, but just better. and there's a lot of reasons for it, but it's really what it is. You know, I would watch. Oh, and also my move of the night was the Michinoku driver, because the angle of that thing and the way gravity took it.
I thought gravity actually hit the top of his head.
He looked like he was spiked, but he wasn't. He luckily rolled through it, but it just was like you use your body
and it was
so
after
well.
a catch too, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came off the top rope into a Michinoku driver. The inventiveness that they could have, and the fact that they trusted each other enough to go that far with it, was a great way to end the night for me. So, gentlemen, we had an up and down. We had a lot of different types of matches.
Wait,
what?
We forgot.
Did we? We did.
We'll do it now. Preemptive. Okay.
There's the code of honor.
Okay. There's the beginning. Now finish your statement.
I'm going to kick like Kyle Fletcher and kick out of it. We had some ups and downs over this match. We had a billion different styles that were put out there. I want to know what you thought of the matches tonight. I want to know what you rated this on the empanada scale. How did you like ROH this week?
Andrew, take it away.
The length of it and some of the stuff on there kind of brought it down a little bit for me. I gave this a 7.8 out of 10 for me. It was there were a lot of really good matches, really, solid matches. I liked getting to see a lot of the different faces, getting to see some, TV time for some of the staples of Ring of Honor. Like I said, I wish that the qualifier matches would have been spread out a little bit more. I felt like there were a couple matches that would have been better on other cards, but for the most part, I thought it was a pretty solid match, and I'm still looking forward to the pay-per-view coming up. So, or I should say, if you have Ring of Honor Plus, in case you didn't catch it,
Honor
in
Club.
every match, Honor Club, sorry. If you have Honor Club, in case you missed it, in every match the commentators mention it, you get it for with your subscription. So
we're gonna have a lot of people on our subscriptions trying to fight with each other to watch this. Jesse, what'd you think?
I want to actually parlay off of what Andrew said with the reminders to every match. I want to see when they do that, like a 4-person all luchador match, and they keep putting up the Wembley Stadium because it's got Big Ben on it.
Yeah.
Just keep that on the screen and see how many luchadors are jumping off of Big Ben because of the graphic.
We always do love an Oops All Luchador match. It's always fun.
But for me, it's actually one of the, in my opinion, best Ring of Honors that I've watched since I've been watching. I give this 4.25 empanadas, which is one of my higher scales, especially for I usually grade pretty hard. I had a couple moments that pissed me off, a couple moments that made no sense, but aside from that, overall, I really enjoyed this. I don't think the Renegade should have lost. I don't want to talk about the obvious one, so we're going to skip through that.
Mama's boy.
Stop it.
I figured that was
But
the
yeah,
extra
really enjoyed it.
0.25 was the Mama Boy thing. That's what pushed it up.
Oh, no, that
past
actually
the
brought
8,
it
right?
down a full point, and then thankfully Danhausen came back and got more points for them.
Oh, good.
It's always good to give Danhausen the extra points because he's very nice, very evil. I gave this I was starting with about a 3.75, but a very full 3.75. Like, I was full from this night. I ate well. I got a lot of good different nutrients. It gave me everything I wanted. And then I had dessert as Danhausen appeared on my screens in ROH, and it bumped it to a 4. So I got my little extra there.
Danhausen only gets a 0.25?
Yeah, because of he didn't do that much. He did one curse,
did
and he wasn't
enough.
a thing. So I gave it a 4. But I'm hoping for more next week, and I'm going to have major heartburn this week because I ate too spicy. So it's going to be delicious going into the next week. Unfortunately, I will not be here to review the Go Home show, but I will be here for Death Before Dishonor, and I believe we'll have the rest of the crew around for that, so that'll be good, and you all will enjoy that. But if not, check in with BC WrestlePod here at BC WrestlePod on all the socials. Make sure you follow us, subscribe to the channel, get those alarm bells set up so you can get our different updates and everything else, and interact with us in the comments. We'd love to hear if you love Danhausen or how much you love Danhausen. Just who all are on board with Danhausen. Talk about Danhausen. There, he got all his plugs. He's going to get all the money from this.
And if you want to talk about Maria's burgeoning singing career, then by all means, throw something in the comments so we can talk about how wrong you are.
Or share with us how your singing career will be better than hers. But for Andrew, for Jesse, for Mikey, wherever he may be, keeping small teenagers away from each other, and for myself, JVL, remember, you are Bi-Conic. We are all Bi-Conic here on the Bi-Conic's Wrestling channel, and we'll see you in the next video.